Hello and welcome to In the House. My name is Matthew Gunzel.
And I'm Andy Cook.
And welcome to episode 3 of our BQC series. Today we're going to be kind of talking a little bit about BQC, obviously, because that's
kind of my thing, what happened.
We're going to kind of be talking about the event as a whole, some kind of gameplay stuff. We're going to save a lot of the gameplay stuff for episode 4, when we're going to be talking about individual players and things like that. We want to start off by saying a massive thank you to everyone who has said nice things to us over the weekend about this. It started off just as a bit of like...
Yeah, this was a joke which has got out of hand.
Yeah, it really got out of hand.
And like,
actually... A joke that had 400 people watching.
Yeah, you guys have got too much time. We appreciate that. We are a good distraction.
Yeah,
and that's all we are probably, so...
But thanks for the support, guys.
We're happy to stay a distraction, to be honest.
We're happy to keep going. So let's get into it. We've got a few things to discuss. First of all, we want to chat about Rugeley as a location, or Rugeley as I've come to refer to it, which I much prefer.
Yeah, like, it's an amazing venue. We checked it out ages ago when we were official. We're now unofficial, so we can discuss it really now. Advantage, it's about 2 kilometres from my parents' house.
But you wouldn't invite us round?
I did invite you round, and
that's a lie.
Darby rejected staying at my house.
You didn't invite me round. I would have come around at least for like Sunday roast or something.
Oh, I did. My sister did make her Sunday. We've got off topic already.
Okay. Anyway, as a location, it was excellent. I know from like speaking to Quidditch UK people, the staff were super friendly and helpful.
I was gonna say, like, just from where I was standing on Brownie, it was really nice to have staff who wanted to know.
Yeah.
Like all the staff at the leisure centre had got a sweepstake.
Yeah.
And I had like a lifeguard passionately asking how good Durmstrang were. And I was like, I googled them and I looked at them on YouTube and I'm quite confident.
Yeah.
So it was nice that the staff wanted to get behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that actually adds a lot to the...
Also, just like the quality of like the fields themselves, you know, like they were flat and like there were divots in places, and like in places they weren't ideal.
Field, though,
but like like they were generally really good quality fields. There's like a spectator swung by as well from just like random. What do you call a person from Rugeley?
A Rugelite. We're going to coin it now.
A Rugalian. Sure.
Rugalian, I like it.
Rugalians, we're a big fan of you, Rugalians.
And like, so we were saying just off camera, instead of last year, like, people kind of accidentally came across the event.
Yeah.
People were coming out of the gym, people were walking their dogs. Whereas last year, you kind of had to go and find us.
Yeah. Also, big up to all the dogs at BQC. You made my tournament experience. Come back, please.
I'm a big fan of dogs.
I'm a big fan.
As people know.
So yeah, we're a big fan of Rugeley. We've kind of been speaking a little bit about, you know, why shouldn't BQC be in Rugeley every year?
Because there's definitely a lot of space for it to grow.
Yeah.
There's a jacuzzi in the sports centre if no one checked it out.
The facility really want us to be there. They really kind of want to support the sport. And like, why not? It's going to be in the Midlands every year anyway. Look, we can accept that.
It's going to be easiest for most people.
A lot of people were accepting that the hotels were really good and that kind of stuff. So why not?
And again, the pubs wanted to work with Quidditch. Like,
I didn't go. Did you go to the pubs? I didn't go to
No,
the
I went
pubs.
home.
Okay.
But I saw that the Chase pub had an hour and a half. We destroyed the Chase pub apparently.
If you're watching this video, let us know what the pub situation was like, because we're vastly interested in pubs.
Yeah. And we're accidentally just advertising pubs for you now anyway, so we appreciate you anyway.
Just thought we would say, In the House does not advocate excessive consumption of alcohol under any circumstances, especially not on day 1 of BQC.
Excessive being the key word. Like, we advocate... Mild is fine.
Yeah.
Encouraged, in fact.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing is about atmosphere, media, and hype ?
I think in the final we accidentally sat in the media box, which was really cool. Just to see like...
We were sat right next to... I'm not going to pronounce his surname, but Tom is like the main publicity guy from Quidditch UK, and he's just like frantically, as the game is happening, like typing away, like updating his press release.
And like trying to work things out without saying too much.
Yeah.
But no, like, it was really exciting to kind of see some positive Quidditch.
Yeah.
And like, I think it started off really well with BBC Midlands Today doing that great piece with Warwick, was it, who did it?
Yeah.
And like, it was just a good piece, which we've seen so many bad ones in the past.
Like, there's always like some journalism about Quidditch that like doesn't quite hit the nail on the head, and it kind of focuses too much on the pottery
and
side.
I think
or that
Compass Cup had that. Like we can say that because it was us, and like
oh my god,
it wasn't great.
Like,
but it started off really positive with this one.
Yeah.
And everything I've seen so far is good. Like Central have done a piece which I saw this morning.
Yeah, I know Metro did one on the day one evening as well.
Oh sweet, yeah.
So there's been quite a bit of coverage. That's been really good.
And positive.
Yeah.
And I feel if Quidditch UK and like teams that aren't capitalising on that, they've made a mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
Like any team really should be trying to print off every
This is
article.
our advice to you now. Our advice to you now.
If you're going to have a fresher stand, you want to print everything off and you want to get it on that stand.
Also, get in touch with your local radio station and tell them how you did at BQC and big up why that's really important to you and your university and all that stuff.
What I was saying to Derby is if you get in the top 15 or the top 20, it sounds very good.
Yeah.
The fact that there was only like 32 teams,
you can miss that.
You don't have to mention that.
Yeah.
Also, there are teams who weren't there at BQC.
Yeah.
So you can say you're in the top 20 in the country. It just it gives you some legitimacy and it will help improve your team. And I think
for sure.
You need to.
Well, that's it. Like if you're a basketball team and you're like, oh yeah, the top 20 in the country, like that's like really.
You'd look good, and don't play yourself down, teams.
Yeah.
Like you may only have come 19th out of 30 or whatever.
That's still really.
But that's impressive. You've worked hard to get there.
Yeah,
I think teams are going to beat themselves up. If you're in the lower bracket, like don't beat yourself up from it. Like
this is one thing actually for me to pick in, right?
Oh,
I was just speaking to quite a few people over the weekend, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, this team won this game, but they only did it because of this." Don't do that. That's a dick move. Like if a team won a game, they won the fucking game, right? If you say like, oh yeah, but they only won because they had X player, or like because they played like
they have
this,
that player.
don't invalidate someone's play or win. Like they won, it's part of the game. Like if you want to break down the entire thing, be like, oh yeah, well maybe they would have won if they didn't have that, and if he had 3 legs, they might have lost. And it's like, don't do that.
And it's like
dick move.
In episode 4, we're going to talk about upsets, but I think actually any match can be an upset.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like we were saying that in the semi-final, is there such thing as a upset because both teams were really good?
Competing, yeah.
And like, but that's episode 4, so let's not talk about that now.
Yeah. So a few things I want to talk about were hype. Like we had a big discussion earlier.
Yeah, like we are hype masters.
And we were kind of saying we felt day one of BQC didn't really have a great deal of hype this year.
And less than last year, I think, is the key point, and less than other tournaments.
And we kind of discussing the main point we feel is that just the lack of commentary. And so the kind of commentators were assigned to stands but not given a megaphone.
So were they? I didn't even know that. Like I didn't see it as a
yeah, because I know I spoke to Jay and he was like, "Oh, I'm meant to be commentating this game." And I was like, "Oh, why aren't you?" And he was like, "No one can hear me." And it's like, "Oh, well."
And like Northern and presumably Southern had it. So why?
Well, we were commentating it.
Well, I know Northern did, but Southern, I presume Southern did.
Yeah.
But why not? And I think it kind of. I don't know. I tried to do a little bit of it on day 2 because I know it adds a lot, but you need to have that building the crowd because the crowd get excited, which means the match gets exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that adds a huge part, which didn't happen, sort of thing.
Absolutely. So yeah, commentary, Quidditch UK, if you're listening. Hi Luke, my housemate Luke just came in. Hi!
With a bottle of Baileys.
With a bottle. Cool. So,
this really is in the house.
Yeah, literally just in my house. Quidditch UK, if you're listening, please commentary at major events.
Not a criticism, it's our
constructive feedback.
We think was missing.
If we were EMT, as we once were,
I'm going to regret that.
Yeah, so commentary. But like definitely towards the final and things. We were saying like we were sat next to each other in the final OBS, and we were kind of saying like you could tell the hype was there because it was silent when nothing major was happening, and then the moment anything happened, the whole crowd went crazy. And that's kind of like real hype, when everyone's like, oh, this could really go either way.
And I think that kicked in the semi-finals, to an extent the quarter-finals.
Yeah.
But up until the quarter-finals,
Yeah.
It was just Quidditch matches, which we've had in friendlies, and there wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, this is the showmanship. This is the tournament of the year.
It's got a bit like the same thing as Valentine's, where because it's so big, it kind of just feels industrial. Like because it's got so many pitches going and so many things, you kind of don't really get to see all the games. It just kind of feels like industrial Quidditch.
It's great, but it needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Or improved, not changed necessarily.
We just need to make each pitch feel special within that wider structure, which just wasn't there this time, I think.
That's fair.